So we're back with the first week of CS50's Introduction to Programming with Python to look at the second problem of week 0, which is playback speed. If we read the problem description, it says, in a file called playback.py, implement a program in Python that prompts the user for input and then outputs the same input, replacing each space with 3 dots or 3 periods. So if we summarize this again, first we need to take input from the user. Secondly, we need to replace any spaces with with our 3 dots like this. And lastly, we just need to print a new string. Print new string. So it's fairly similar to the last problem, except this time we're replacing a substring with something else. If we just make a quick example, quick test case for this, if we said something like, does our program work? Then the expected output of the program would be, does our program work? So that's what we're expecting to see when we finally test our program at the end. So first steps, we need to take input. We can use the built-in input function again, and this time our optional argument will just be message. We need to save this somewhere, so we'll save this in a variable called message again. Moving on to the second part, there's a few ways we could do this, but if we're sticking with the theme of string methods, there is a built-in replace method. And if we look at the documentation for this, it says it returns a copy of the string with all occurrences of substring old replaced by new. If the optional argument count is given, only the first count occurrences are replaced. So if we can see at the top here, it's shown us how this function or method should be used. Saying the first argument is the old substring or the substring which we want to replace, and the second argument, new, is the substring in which we are replacing it with. And then there's also the optional third argument, which is count. So if we don't provide a third argument, it's going to replace all of the substrings. If we, for example, just wanted it to replace the first substring, the first space it saw with 3 dots, then we could use 1 as the first argument, and so on. But for what we're doing, we don't need to worry about the third argument. So let's create a new variable called slowed message. And this is going to have the return of our message.replace. And the first argument is going to be a space, nothing, a blank space. This is going to be the substring that we're looking to replace. And our second argument is going to be our 3 dots or 3 periods, and this is going to be what we're looking to replace it with. And finally, we will print the result, slowed message. And that should be it. If we go over to our terminal, we can give this a quick test. So we can say playback.py. It's asking us for a message. So if we do our test case, does our program work? We are getting the expected result. So we're getting the same message, the same string sent back to us, but instead of spaces between our words, we've now got the 3 dots or the 3 periods. Now, a small improvement we can make to our code, similar to the last problem, if we're not actually using the original input for anything, then we can just get rid of that second variable and shorten our code down to 1 line. So if we go back to our code here, we can delete this line and just run replace, or sorry, we should call the replace method on the end of our input like this. And if we change the name in here, because this no longer exists, we can go to our terminal, test it again. Does this work? And again, you can see everything's working as intended. So that's the end of this problem. Again, a nice and short one. If you have any questions or you want to share your solution to the problem, then leave a comment down below. If you found the video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe for more like this.